Jonathan Ashworth.
To ask the Secretary of State to update the House on COVID-19.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm grateful for the chance to update the House on the urgent matter of coronavirus. Yesterday's treatment breakthrough shows British science is amongst the best in the world, Mr. Speaker. And as a nation, we can be incredibly proud of our scientists. The UK is home to the best clinical trials, the most advanced immunology research, the most promising vaccine development work of any country. And we've backed the science from the start, and I'm sure the whole House will welcome the life-saving breakthrough that was announced yesterday. Today, if I can, Mr. Speaker, I'll briefly update the House on all three aspects of that scientific national effort. First, on clinical trials, our recovery programme, which looks at the effect of existing treatments in real-world hospital settings, is the largest of its kind. As of yesterday, 11,547 NHS patients had been recruited to the programme, which is operating across 176 sites in all 4 nations. In Oxford University's Dexamethasone trial, over 2,000 NHS COVID patients were given a course of this drug, a commonly used steroid, over 10 days. For patients who were ill enough to require oxygen, the risk of dying fell by a fifth. And for the most seriously ill patients on mechanical ventilators, the risk of dying fell by over a third. This is an important moment in the fight against this virus. It's the first time that anyone in the world has clinically proven that a drug can improve the survival chances for the most seriously ill coronavirus patients. In February, we began the trial, supported by £25 million of government funding. In March, we began recruiting the patients and started the process of building a stockpile in case the trial was successful. And I can let the House know that as of today, we have 240,000 doses now in stock and on order. And this means that the treatment is immediately available and already in use on the NHS. I'm incredibly proud that this discovery has happened right here in Britain through a collaboration between government, the NHS, and some of our top scientists. It is not by any means a cure, Mr. Speaker, but it is the best news we've had. Throughout this crisis, our actions have been guided by the science, and this is what good science looks like. Randomised control trials, rigorous, painstaking research, moving at pace, yet getting it right. And the result is that we now have objective proof, not anecdote, but proof, that this drug saves lives. And that knowledge will benefit many thousands of people all around the world. 7 other drugs are currently being trialled as part of the recovery trial, and a further 9 drugs are in live clinical trials as part of the Accord programme, which is looking at early stage treatments. We look forward to seeing the results of all these trials too. And I want to thank everyone involved and put on the record my thanks to our Deputy Chief Medical Officer, Professor Jonathan Van Tam, who's led the work in government, the NHS clinicians, the scientific teams, and, of course, the participants in the trial who took the drug before they knew that it worked. Mr. Speaker, our immunology research again is world-leading. Last month, I announced a new antibody testing programme to help us understand the immunological response to the disease, whether you get resistance to coronavirus once you've had it and recovered. I myself am part of that programme, and as of yesterday, 592,204 people have now had an NHS antibody test. The nature of immunity research is that it takes time. You have to wait to see if someone with antibodies gets reinfected. But with every test, we improve our picture of where the virus has been, and we grow the evidence to find out if people who've had the disease and have antibodies are at lower risk of getting or transmitting the virus again. Crucially, this work will help inform how we deploy a vaccine. My final point, Mr. Speaker. That work is moving at pace. Earlier this week, Imperial College began their first phase of human clinical trials. 300 participants will receive dosages of the vaccine, and should they develop a promising response, Imperial will move to a large phase 3 trial later this year. And yesterday, AstraZeneca signed a deal for the manufacture of the Oxford vaccine, AZD1222, which is the world's most advanced vaccine in development and whose progress, while never certain, is promising. Mr. Speaker, none of this happened by accident. It's because the British government, scientists and the NHS have put in place a large-scale, programmatic, comprehensive, well-funded, systematic, rigorous, science-led system of research and innovation. We've been working on it since the moment we first heard of coronavirus. There is more to do in this national effort, but this is how we win the battle. We will leave no stone unturned as we search for the tools to hunt down, control and ultimately defeat this dreadful disease.